today's video, I'd just like to share that 94% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So if you are feeling generous, be sure to drop a like and a sub, and let's get right into today's video. Thank you. Howdy, I'm Daxio, and this is Plugged In News. And in today's pin update, we have with no tourist handouts, hungry Bali monkeys raid homes, as well as her leaks expose global financial corruption. Now she's in prison. Let's get right into that. And for the first story today, this is coming from AP News by Ferdia Linsnawati, and it is with no tourist handouts, hungry Bali monkeys raid homes. And this just goes to show, as we read on into the story, that not only are humans affected by coronavirus, but also these monkeys in Bali. And it goes on to read, deprived of their preferred food source, the bananas, peanuts, and other goodies brought into town by tourists now kept away by the coronavirus. Hungry monkeys on the resort of Bali have taken to raiding villagers' homes in search for something tasty. Villagers in Sangi say the gray, long-tailed macaques have been venturing out from the sanctuary about 500 yards away to hang out on their roofs and wait for the right time to swoop down and snatch a snack. Worried about the sporadic sorties will escalate into an all-out monkey assault on the village, residents have begun taking fruit, peanuts, and other food to the Sangi monkey forest to try to placate the primates. We are afraid that the hungry monkeys will turn wild and vicious, villager Saskara Gutsi said. About 600 macaques live in the forest sanctuary, swinging from tall nutmeg trees and leaping about the famous Pura Bukat Sari temple, and are considered sacred. In normal times, the protected jungle area in the southeast Indonesian island is popular among local residents for wedding photos as well as among international visitors. The relatively tame monkeys can easily be coaxed to sit on a shoulder or lap for a peanut or two. Ordinarily, tourism is the main source of income for Bali's 4 million residents, who welcomed more than 5 million foreign visitors annually before the pandemic. The Sangi monkey forest typically had about 6,000 visitors a month, but as the pandemic spread last year and international travel dropped off dramatically, that number dropped to around 500 visitors. And since July, when Indonesia banned all foreign travelers to the island and shut the sanctuary to local residents as well, there has been nobody. Not only has that meant nobody bringing in extra food for the monkeys, but the sanctuary has also lost out on its admission fees and is running low on money to purchase food for them, said operations manager Maid Mahone. The donations from the village have helped, but they are also feeling the economic pinch and are gradually giving less and less, he said. This prolonged pandemic is beyond our expectations, Maid Mahone said. Food for monkeys has become a problem. Food costs around $60 a day, Maid Mohan said, for 200 kilograms or around 440 pounds of cassava, the monkey's staple food, and 22 pounds of bananas. So $60 for 22 pounds of bananas and 440 pounds of cassava? Not gonna lie, it seems like a good deal. Anyways, it goes on to read, the macaque is an omnivore and can eat a variety of animals and plants found in the village, but those in the Sangai monkey forest have enough contact with humans over the years that they seem to prefer other things. Now, I just wanted to point this story out again because it shows that not only are humans affected by coronavirus, but even monkeys are too. And even my boy Maid Mahone said, this prolonged pandemic is beyond our expectations. No one was really ever prepared for this except for people in the government. And now normal people and even monkeys are suffering because of this pandemic. Let's get on to the next story, and this is coming from BuzzFeed News by David Mack, and it is her leaks expose global financial corruption, and now she is in prison. And it goes on to read, Natalie Mae Edwards has made a pact with her 16-year-old daughter. Every night before bed for the next 6 months, each will say a quiet prayer at the exact same time. Her daughter will be doing the same from home in Virginia. Edwards will be doing so from a women's federal prison in West Virginia. I'm emotionally prepared as far as entering the facility and meeting other people, Edwards, 43, told BuzzFeed News in an interview on Thursday evening. I'm not emotionally prepared for being separated from my daughter, my husband, and my immediate family. A former Treasury Department official, Edwards, whose decision to leak a trove of highly confidential government documents to BuzzFeed News was prompted a massive investigation that exposed how dirty money moves through the global banking system and helped spur legislative action in the US and beyond. Reported to the federal prison camp Alderson on Friday morning to begin her 6-month sentence, the minimum security prison is where Martha Stewart and Billie Holiday both served time. The information she provided to BuzzFeed News formed the basis of the FinCEN files, which was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize, journalism's highest honor. But many across the US are not familiar with Edwards, labeling her the forgotten whistleblower. And actually, before this story, before reading it, I have never heard of her, so shout out BuzzFeed News for this story. One of the most important whistleblowers of our area, and yet hardly anyone remembers her name. Despite losing her freedom and most, if not all, of her family's financial waging in a legal fight, Edwards maintained she had no regrets, believing her actions will help thwart future criminals and terrorists. "I'm absolutely proud of what I did," she said, "and I know American lives have been saved." Her husband, Dave Edwards, said that he believed his wife was a political prisoner and that prosecutors had set out to destroy his family in order to set an example. "You're sentencing her to prison because you don't want other whistleblowers to come forward, and I see how this works." And he is exactly right with this. She's a 43-year-old mother of a 16-year-old girl who has lost everything. What crime is she going to commit by being in home incarceration? This is a personal vendetta against her. You're going to put away a lady that got no money, that had no motive other than accountability, that lost everything. Now she's going to lose her freedom for 6 months. Also, you can stop people from coming forward. You're the ones who are going to have to look in the mirror. And they don't care. The government doesn't care. But the investigation by BuzzFeed, an international consortium of investigative journalists, which involved more than 100 news organizations in 88 countries, revealed how banks file SARS and then continue to process and profit off of suspicious payments, thereby facilitating criminal activity while enriching themselves and shareholders. The US government collects the SARs, but does not force banks to shut the money laundering down. In June, just over a week after Edwards was sentenced, the Pulitzer Board at Columbia University named the project a finalist in the international reporting category for a massive reporting project that yielded sweeping revelations about the ongoing role of some of the world's biggest banks in facilitating international money laundering and trafficking of goods and people, corruption that continues to frustrate regulators across the world. This just goes to show you how corrupt and crappy our government is. We have a whistleblower coming out saying that, hey, our government knows these people are getting bad, dirty money and knows these banks are laundering that money and helping with that process, yet she gets sent to prison for it because she exposed them. That's the way our legal system works. And just like he said, she is a political prisoner. They wanted to make an example out of her because they couldn't make one out of Edward Snowden. And that's period. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, drop a like, drop a sub down below, drop a comment, let me know how I'm doing, let me know what I can do to improve. Thanks for staying plugged in. Peace out, crew.